All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Talk Rockets, Father's Day edition. Happy Father's Day to all the lovely fathers out there. I hope you guys have a good day. We're going to talk a little bit of Rockets because it is Father's Day, so we don't want to take up too much time. I was a little loud. Uh, yeah, I need a haircut. The hair's a little, the hair's a little low. It just won't stay up. That's what she said. Thought about that joke like a minute ago. So we have a couple of things. We're not going to talk about too much. Like I said, I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Kyle Kuzma recently linked to the Houston Rockets. We'll talk about that after we talk about KJ Martin Jr. potentially getting traded. And then I wanted to, one of my followers, I think they're subscribers, one of my Twitter friends, he had a interesting take, and I actually kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit. Maybe one day, his name's James. Maybe one day we can have him on the show and talk some Rockets. I would love to eventually get some Rocket, writers, creators, et cetera, on these streams and on this channel. What's up to my man Balin? Spencer Strider is my ace in fantasy baseball, and I'm about to beat Cade, and only about like 3 people get that, so let's just get into it. We have something here on the screen, and it's from one of our favorites on this channel, Bordeaux. Talk about KJ Martin Jr. All right. If the Rockets were to move a guy, KJ Martin would be the most likely candidate. That's coming from beat writer of The Athletic, Kelly Iko. The KJ Martin situation is so fascinating. And, with that being said, I kind of want to just bring up this guy's tweet here. We're here 4 more days until the draft, and that's cool. You should bring in more guests. What's up, Jay? I appreciate you tuning in. Jalen Johnson, one of the guys who always, like almost every week, almost every show comes into my daily live NBA show and just talks with us. So I appreciate you. Get all your questions in here because we'll talk about that. We don't have too much on the agenda here today. Basically, James's tweet was, the Rockets need to phase 1.5, basically. Otherwise, you just spent 3 years on a plan that's suitable for a 10-year window, only to abandon it for a 1-year window. If that's the thinking, it would be the most sensible to literally move everyone on the roster. Otherwise, if you're willing to concede that this whole thing needs a few more years to marinate, the best thing to do is draft for ceiling and bring in 2 to 4 veterans as key reserves. No more minutes for fringe NBA players. These kind of things. What's up, Jared? My man, Jared, that I met in Houston. We shared a nice little beer. How are you doing, man? I hope you're doing well. I love seeing your Instagram posts. Keep up the lifting for sure. Hope the jerseys are continuing to add. But real quick, I wanted to talk on, basically it kind of goes hand in hand with KJ here. I love KJ Martin Jr. I think he's a nice basketball player. When we take a look at our roster for next season, like the guys we have guaranteed, the point is there's just so many guys who are very similar to each other. And so if we bring in players like Kyle Kuzma, or if we bring in Dylan Brooks or Cam Johnson, et cetera, there's going to be even more of a log jam. And then if we take Cam Whitmore, pick number 4, there's even more of a log jam. And the point I'm trying to get at here is like our projected depth chart for next season, if things stand right now, because our only free agents are Frank Kaminsky, Boban, DJ Augustine, Willie Cauley-Stein, Darius Days, Trevor Hudgens. KPJ, Ty Washington Jr. is the backup. You have Jalen Green, Josh Christopher, Daisha Nix at the shooting guard position. And this is where the logjam comes in. I have Tari Eason and KJ Martin Jr. as my small forward. Okay. Well, if we take Cam Whitmore, or if we take non-Amon Thompson, if we take Cam Whitmore, if we take Brandon Miller, if Miller falls to 4, there's even more of a logjam at 3. So now I have at the small forward, and keep in mind, KJ Martin Jr., Tari Eason, Brandon Miller, Cam Whitmore, Jabari Smith Jr., Jayshawn Tate, all these guys are versatile, and it's not like, holy fucking shit, dude. That is insane. That's insane. Could you guys hear that? So yeah, it's not the sunniest of days here in Florida on Father's Day, which sucks because it's US Open Sunday. And we got hours and hours and hours of golf to watch. And LA is going to be beautifully sunny because it's in LA. And I got these lightning storms. I got to go drive an hour and a half here. That was thunder. Or actually, that was probably lightning. No, that's thunder, right? We get Miller watch. Agreed. If we bring like Dylan Brooks, I just don't see how KJ is going to get his minutes. So it's just there's so many things, and those were all, and I haven't even talked about bringing in the free agents, right? So it's just like there's a huge logjam. And the point still stands that after this draft class, and it's a big reason why I want to take Amon Thompson at pick number 4. I want to draft for ceiling. Like if you're Balin here, the Rockets' second best player right now are like, what's our core is kind of the question here. And I'm having a hard time like iterating this because it's a complicated situation where it's like, who's our franchise type of players? Is it Şengün? Is it Jalen Green? If it's even one of those two, is that a good enough? Are we good enough? Like even if we don't get James Harden and we fill out the roster, we get Brook Lopez or Naz Reid and Dylan Brooks and whoever we take at 4. Like is that are our star players good enough? Like there's so much that's going into this. Personally, if you guys have been watching this, my thoughts on Şengün. I need to see another year of him, not with Silas as the head coach, just to see what we have here. Is he a franchise player or is he, kind of like a Kevin Love where he's the 3rd best player on a championship team? I think Şengün can do that. We're going to need continual development. That's like a big thing. We want to keep finding our identity, and hiring Ime Udoka was a big step in finding our identity. But like this next year, I don't want to get James Harden and all these veteran free agents and then trade away guys like, KJ Martin Jr., one of Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., Alperen Şengün to acquire a Jaylen Brown. Like, we just rebuilt for several years. And it's a big if, but if Jalen Green is that dude, if Jabari Smith Jr. is that enough of a dude, if Alperen Şengün is that dude, if our number 4 pick is that dude, well, we have a lot of years of winning. But if you trade half of those players for a guy like Jaylen Brown, well, that throws a lot out of the window. So is KJ Martin Jr. going to be back? Let me know. Is KJ Martin Jr. going to be back next season? Maybe. Does he finish the season? I don't think so. Amon lacks the most important skill in basketball, shooting. Perfect. He fits perfectly. I would be extremely excited if we got Kuzma. Yes, let's go to the tweet here. This just came out from Jake Weinbach, NBA. Kyle Kuzma expected to decline his $13 million player option, do you think? The Wizards and become an unrestricted free agent this offseason. Potential suitors for Kuzma include the Pacers, Rockets, Spurs, Kings, and Jazz. I think all of those would be very cool to see Kyle Kuzma. I would take Kyle Kuzma 100%. Just like literally 100% is where I stand with taking Kyle Kuzma. He's the perfect player, I think, to be like a number 3 on a championship team. Having him with, I didn't even want to bring up James Harden, but like, the issue I have with talking about offseason needs is the draft's a week away. So it's like, are we going for James Harden? We'll probably know a better idea if we're going for James Harden if we take Amon Thompson or if we don't. If he's available and we don't take him, or if we do take him, we probably have a better answer about James Harden. If we take Cam Whitmore, we probably have a better understanding of Kuzma and Dylan Brooks or an OG trade or all these things. Like there's so much speculation going on right now that it's hard to even talk about stuff like this. But I wanted to bring your attention to Kyle Kuzma's link to the Rockets. I don't know the nitty gritty, but on paper, the idea, in theory, Kyle Kuzma as a Houston Rocket to me works. I'll take it. That works for me. I don't know about you, but that works. Kuz can't dribble. Jaylen Brown can't dribble. What's with these guys can't dribbling? Cam Whitmore cannot dribble. If we get Cam Whitmore and we have Jabari Smith Jr., hopefully Jabari Smith Jr. acquired a newfound handle, which we all know he's fully capable of, but things could get a little bit dicey if we don't have a solidified point guard 1 who's going to distribute the ball efficiently, like a Chris Paul or James Harden, if we have both Cam Whitmore and Jabari and Kyle Kuzma out there on the same. Oh, you're saying KJ. KJ can't dribble the ball either. So, yeah. Kuzma can find his spots. Brown can find his spots. Are they the best dribblers? No. I honestly hope Oh, here. We're already one of the worst shooting teams in basketball last year. Let's replace our point guard that's a better shooter for someone who's I want to hear so Balin wants Whitmore, as he's saying right here. We're going to talk. Let's talk about being a super safe prospect because I don't want to take a super safe prospect. But Balin, I want to hear your thoughts because you're not on the Şengün train and you want to take Cam Whitmore. Your ideal Rockets offseason, go. I honestly hope Miller falls to us. The only thing is the drama that comes with him. I don't anticipate that to be an issue. But I will take Brandon Miller with open arms for sure. I'll take another SEC cat on this team. Hell yeah, back-to-back years. Fuck yeah. Ty Washington Jr. Hell yeah. Give it to me. So the thing with taking Cam Whitmore because he's safe is something I have an issue with, and that's why I'm so high on Amin Thompson. Amin Thompson's boom potential is so high. Now you could take it on the flip and be like, well, his bust potential is so high too because he can't shoot. You're not wrong. It's risky. It's truly boom or bust. I personally want a boom player over a bust, or I want a boom player over a safe player. You know, that's where I stand. Unless the Rockets take the stance of, all right, you know what? Let's go out there and let's get James Harden. Okay, we're going to get James Harden. We're not paying James Harden a max contract, but here's a world I wouldn't be shocked at. We're going to pay James Harden a 2-year contract, maybe with a player option for year 3. We're going to give him a nice chunk of money, but not enough to the point where if we need to pay players, we can still pay him, right? Like, we're going to pay James Harden for 2 years, and then once these guys are off their rookie contracts, James Harden will be off the books. We'll have a better idea of, the future of our team. So you get James Harden, then I would take Cam Whitmore is not a horrible pick. If James Harden was on the Houston Rockets roster right now, yeah, Amin Thompson is not the pick. Brandon Miller, give me Cam Whitmore, give it to me. These guys are going to help immediately next year win us basketball games. Sign Harden, Brook Lopez, and Dylan Brooks. Draft Whitmore and Miller if he slips like I think he might. Trade KJ and pick 20 for someone who can help us now. In theory, that really works. It really does work. I like the idea of having who's starting and who's coming off the bench in that situation. You're going James at 1. You're going Jalen at 2. Şengün's playing the 5, or Brook Lopez is playing the 5. Şengün off the bench is not something I'm thrilled with the idea of. 3 and 4 has got to be Whitmore or Miller. And, you have to go with Jabari, right? But then is Dylan Brooks coming off the bench? Does Dylan Brooks know he's coming to the Houston Rockets to come off the bench? Like, does he know? Is he not coming off the bench? Then is Jabari coming off the bench? Do we want Jabari coming off the bench? It's not my ideal offseason, but if it happened, all right, let's run it. We're going to get some ticket sales. Might start making some money off the page if we get James Harden, Cam Whitmore, Dylan Brooks, Brook Lopez, or Brandon Miller. It is, bro. That's why I'm afraid. But Amin has the highest upside in the draft besides Wemby. Outside of Scoot Henderson, I fully agree with this statement. And then Balin says Şengün and Lopez basically split minutes at the center position. So, yeah, man, just a really interesting. What do we have here? We did have a Dylan Brooks subject. The Rockets are heavy favorites to sign Dylan Brooks as it stands. I think Dylan Brooks could conceivably make around $17 to $18 million on this market. Let's read some of the chats here. Will Bias states it. Trying and see how they'll give Brooks this much money, throw a check at Harden, and also bring in a center. Half that roster might just be getting moved. If the Rockets do actually sign Dylan Brooks, Brooks starts at small forward to start the year, but can easily be replaced by Whitmore if his play warrants it. It's just these are difficult decisions to make. And then you have this, Dylan Brooks. Oh man, Dylan Brooks couldn't shoot last year, but I do love the edge he has. Regardless of Dylan Brooks, I think Patrick Beverley is a great free agent acquisition to acquire James Harden. No James Harden, doesn't matter. The idea of having like Amon Thompson or James Harden on this team, oh yeah, that was my elbow. And then signing Patrick Beverley, then it's pretty perfect. It's like, okay, KPJ, you're point guard 3, but we're gonna play you at the 2. KPJ, if he played the 2, probably would be averaging closer to 25 than 20. The Dylan Brooks hate is so easy. I hated Dylan Brooks all regular season just because the Memphis Grizzlies weren't my favorite team this year because of their shenanigans against the Golden State Warriors. But you got to respect Dylan Brooks. Dylan Brooks is an extremely respectable player. So he's got great defense, man. He can play that defense. So that's it for today. Just a short little I was going to turn this into a video, and it probably would have been better in video format, but I love hearing from you guys. My Twitter's in the link in the description if you guys want to go check that out. That's it for today, man. I hope you guys have a great Father's Day, great rest of your weekend. Hopefully the sun comes up if anybody here happens to live in South Florida. And yeah, man, go have a great day with your families. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for Daily Houston Rockets content, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.